Hey there, Solo here, and today I have a brand new video for you all, and it's going to be for a new game that's not exactly a new game, but it's new for the channel. Now, recently I've been playing a lot of Apex Legends, so I wanted to share some tips and some tricks about how to be successful when you're going into games if you go into them as I do, which is solo queue, or you're going in there solo without a pre-made team. And I know there's a lot of tips already out there on YouTube, but I feel like, you know, if there's any tips that I may present today that any of you guys feel like, hey, this is actually a pretty good tip, or hey, I actually do this already, this is a really good tip, please go ahead, like the video or comment down below and say which tips do you like or which ones do you suggest, because this is a learning experience for everyone. So without further ado, let's all get started. Now, the first tip that I have for everyone is not an actual skill tip, it is a mindset tip. Now, before you click away, I completely understand, you know, you're looking here for tips, actual things that you can do, but found that this tip is crucial, especially for what I've seen and how I play. It's basically, you have to accept that you're already at a disadvantage when you're going in solo. And again, that is more of a mindset thing, but I'm telling you all right now, whenever I go into a game understanding that, hey, I'm already at a disadvantage, especially when I'm playing with two other teammates who we're not talking on voice comms. I do not turn on voice comms when I play a lot of the multiplayer games. So in this, whenever I match up in the games where I'm solo, I'm alone, and I have a bunch of teammates, going in with that mindset that anything can happen and it's okay, I guarantee is going to change your mindset and put you in a better position to enable yourself to keep on going without carrying over that, you know, extra baggage or extra, oh, that last game was so unfair. Basically, this mindset prevents tilt from happening and allows you to keep going into those games and continuing to have fun and bringing in that positive energy into the next game. So while that one is, you know, an actual mindset, the other tips are actual things that you can actually do in the game. Going into the next one, the next tip that I have for everyone is do not pre-plan your loadout. Being that this is a battle royale game where anything can happen, it's not a good idea to go in immediately thinking, oh, I'm going to get a sniper and I'm going to get an R301 and I'm going to just take this game, because I can guarantee you every time that you plan a loadout, you're never going to see those weapons. At least that's what's happened to me several times, and I always get angry. I always try to go for the Prowler with the full auto mod and, you know, and think I'm just going to just run through all the games, and I will never see a Prowler in those games where I've thought, oh yeah, that's the weapon I'm going for. Instead, just realize that whatever weapon that you have is whatever weapon that you have, except for if you have a Mozambique, get rid of it as soon as possible. But seriously, any weapon that you have, you have to understand that, you know, you're given what you're given, especially in a battle royale, and depending on where you land and depending on how many enemies are around you, you don't have control over that loadout. Now, if you want to keep in the back of your mind and say, I'm good with these weapons, so if I come across this weapon or this weapon, I'm definitely going to switch to it, which is different than, oh, I'm just going to pick up this weapon, but I'm not going to get good at it. I'm not going to learn how to use it. I'm not going to even bother with this weapon until I get the weapon that I really want. Because I can guarantee you, if you keep on going into games with that kind of mindset, you're never going to see that weapon and you're never going to improve, and you're not going to like it. Your teammates aren't going to like it. It's just a bad time for everyone. So just don't do it. Try your best to learn a lot of different weapons and try to, you know, make all the weapons as many as possible. Make them feel good for you to use, so that if you do have to take it into, you know, the final couple of teams to secure the win, you feel comfortable using that weapon. Now, the next tip that I have for you all is majority rules. And what do I mean by majority rules? I mean this. Take, for example, if you're looting an area with your teammates and you see enemies in the far distance. you ping that the enemies are over there or wherever you see the enemies, and your teammates run away from it. Both of your teammates, depending on whichever mode that you select, both of your teammates or your teammates run the opposite way. But instead, you decide you want to go and, take them on, try to get, the team kill, and you die. Who was in the wrong there? According to this rule, you were. Because if two of your teammates decide we're not ready for this encounter, and you decide, I'm just gonna go for it anyway. Majority rule, you weren't supposed to engage with that battle. And in the vice versa, the same way, where if you do ping where the enemies were and one other teammate decides, all right, let's go ahead and, go for the team kill, and you have that one teammate who decides he doesn't want to engage, that other teammate is in the wrong. Now, unfortunately, in the second example, you can't really control what the other teammate did. So it's just kind of like, it's very frustrating because you want the teammate to you want everyone to, really be in sync. And of course, the whole goal is to get the actual win. But it just definitely helps, and what I've seen for myself is it helps when I follow the majority rule, or I always consider myself, the follower. I personally do not like leading the team and making those calls, except for if I know that I am confident that I will be able to lead the team into a really good engagement, or some circumstance that if we get this, there will be greater rewards for us. But essentially, again, the rule is if two teammates decide they want to go somewhere, the third teammate needs to follow with the pack. So if you decide, no, I'm not going to, follow people, I'm not going to follow them, I'm going to lead my own way, you're probably gonna have a bad time. Just a forewarning. But that's just the tip that has helped me. Hopefully it helps you. Now, the final tip that I have for you all that I feel is very important for me to learn, so I definitely feel you all should learn and master it as well. And that is going to be communication. And communication in the form of pings. Now, again, I do not like talking on mics in these types of games, and any multiplayer games actually. Find more comfort playing alone, but there's several different circumstances out there where some people either can't talk, or they again maybe just don't want to talk. But being able to speak is not the only form of communication, and in this case, Respawn has done a wonderful job of making several different pings for every type of different situation. There's a ping to let your team know, hey, I'm looking at this area. Hey, I saw a teammate go over here. Hey, I'm going to loot over here. Hey, we should go over here. There are several different pings for every type of situation that you can imagine. And you don't even have to talk at all, which is the great part. So really, the most important thing about it is whether or not, even if you're in a pre-made team, communication is important. And even if you are not exactly speaking, there's still ways for you to communicate, and communication is very important. Again, I can't emphasize it enough, because a lot of the times where I was able to secure wins and be able to, even if we had lost a teammate or both of the teammates were down, they were still pinging where the enemy was and giving me situations of where the enemies were. And that's how it led to wins. So definitely communicate, ping. You don't have to talk if you don't want to, but please make sure you ping. And that's all that I have for you all today. Again, let me know down in the comments below if you liked any of the tips, or if you have any tips on your own that you like using for yourself, or a tip that you learned. Again, this is a skill that I'm always trying to craft, always trying to hone. So the more tips, the more better. And maybe I'll be able to cover them if there's a couple of more tips down below that we can discuss and try out. But again, just go ahead, if you like the video, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up. And if you want to see more content like this, don't be afraid to hit the subscribe button and ring the bell to be notified when I upload another video. But again, that's all I have for you, and thank you so much for watching. I will catch you in the next one. Solo says so long.